Hey guys, welcome into another Spotlight presentation. That means today we're going to be spending more than the standard 5 or so minutes on a watch. We're going to be spending around 10 or more. And today we're going to be highlighting Lum-Tec watches. In particular, this model is going to be the 300M-1XL. I'll tell you what that means here in just a minute. First thing I wanted to do though, and I don't do this really at all, is I wanted to show you the packaging because I feel that they've really stepped up and brought the appropriate packaging for the price range that they're at. These are not cheap watches by any stretch of the imagination for this segment of the industry. The tool diver or standard diver watch. There are a lot of guys out there that are in the $500 price range, $800 price range, $1,000 and $1,200 for a similar style of watch. So it's nice to see they put in the money to give you the appropriate packaging. Now listen, if you're like me, you're going to take this box and you're going to toss it in your watch closet or in the garage in a bin or wherever you put your boxes, because you're not really displaying your watch in here. You're putting it in a nice display case or a winder. But it's nice, especially when you first receive the watch, to get that feeling that you've got something special. So it's a nice, genuine wood box with the aluminum plate laser etched with Lum-Tec's name. You get it open. There is the presentation of your watch right there for the world to see. Inside of the lid will be this little card right here that I just held upside down for no reason. That is your warranty card with your model number, serial number, date of manufacture, and where you bought it from. Now this came directly from Lum-Tec. You can buy off of Lum-Tec's website. And before we get any further, people have already asked me about pricing on these when I started teasing on my Instagram that I was going to be reviewing a couple Lum-Tecs. I did all the searching I could, and every retailer that I saw selling Lum-Tec were selling at the same price that Lum-Tec themselves were selling for. So it doesn't really matter where you buy it. You're not going to get a bigger discount by shopping around unless it's eBay or something like that. Also included in the packaging, which I thought was kind of neat, was this little kind of certificate of authenticity. Actually, that is exactly what it is, because that's what they fucking wrote. Alright, so what we've got there is a little bit of redundancy. There it is, the model. There is the serial number, the production date, and a bit of additional information we didn't see before, and that is the movement that is inside of the watch. It's signed by the president, has their contact info, and I'll quickly read what it says here. Your Lum-Tec watch has been fully tested and has passed our highest standard of quality control, strict durability testing, and water-resistant requirements. And then they give you a nice thank you for choosing their watches over everybody else's. So again, nice added touch. These are the things that you should be expecting when you're spending this kind of money. Now also inside of the packaging, be a couple of compartments. On this watch, only one compartment is used. The other one, there's nothing in it. But there's still plenty of goodies inside of here. First things first, the watch comes on the steel bracelet for your convenience. And you're going to get an extra set of spring bars in case you're like me and tend to lose stuff when you're screwing around. Inside here, we can get it out of the bag. It's going to be a rubberized strap. I believe it is a polyurethane strap. Don't know that for certain. It could be a stronger form of silicone. Not sure. But really nicely made. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to end up putting this watch on this strap. I really like how that looks. Now let's get the watch out and talk about Lum-Tec in general. Lum-Tec is a brand that has been highly debated by people that have never handled one of their watches, myself included. This is the very first time, and they sent me 2 watches very graciously, that I've had a chance to sample their watches. I've always been a little bit skeptical. The quartz watches in the $500 price range, and again, I'm just talking across years and across their many different models. Automatics around the $700, $800, $900 mark and a little bit more. And they weren't Swiss automatics at that price range, and I went, I just don't see it. I don't get it. They have a rabid fan base, and I wasn't getting it. They looked like they were nice watches, but there are a lot of nice watches in those price ranges. Wouldn't you agree? There you go. Another thing that was a bit of skepticism was about their loom. Now, I was under the false impression that they manufactured their own type of luminescent compound. What it is, it's called MDV. It stands for Maximum Darkness Visibility. What it is, it's a special 8-layer application of superluminova. Now, we all know superluminova. It's pretty much the benchmark. If you're talking about the best luminescence in the world, you're talking superluminova, you're talking Seiko's Lumibright, and there's a Japanese compound that most consumers don't know about, but it's called Nemoto. And that's really going to be your top tier shit. So what you're getting is not only superluminova, but what we call multiple passes in the industry. When I've had my hand in designing a lot of watches, when I manufactured my own watches, I always went for multiple passes. Generally, 6 is going to give you an extreme degree of lume. These guys are using an 8-pass application, which is kind of nuts. And you can see, maybe you can see, maybe you can't, how thick that application is on that dial. Very, 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 very thick on the hands. And they've also got lume inside of the bezel here as well. Overall, the construction is nice. It's every bit what you would expect for this price range, which is $745. Now, I want you to just kind of soak that in for a second. $745. Yes, you can go to a gray market dealer, meaning you're not buying a watch that's going to have a warranty or anything like that. You can go to a gray market dealer and probably find a Swiss automatic and maybe a Hamilton or a Tissot for this same price. It may not have the same degree of water resistance, probably won't have the same degree of luminescence, and you're probably not going to get the extra strap and all that kind of good stuff. But we have to keep things in perspective with everything that we talk about here. And $745 is not cheap. But honestly, the watch doesn't feel cheap. It is very substantial. It's a larger watch. The designations here, 300M means it's 300 meters water resistant. 1 is the numeral designation for how many variations there are. I believe there may have been 3 or 4 of this one. And then XL. This is the 45 millimeter case. That's not counting the crown. 45 millimeter case. The standard or non-XL is a 40 millimeter case. So you've got a big, beefy, weighty, heavy watch. If you prefer something smaller, they make it. You've got a 24 millimeter lug width here for your bracelet and for your strap. And when I mention weighty, on the bracelet, it's a ½ pound. Not lying. 8.5 ounces. All solid steel. 60-click rotating luminous bezel with a sapphire insert. Oh yes. Not just sapphire here and sapphire here, but also with multiple layers of anti-reflective coatings. And you'll see that blue flash as I let one of my studio lights dance across it. I like the fact that they're doing the sapphire inlay. It helps to protect the luminescence. It's a tough deal putting lume in bezels. I tell you that right now from personal experience. The next time I do it, I'm doing the same type of thing. It's going to take abuse. You're going to get chips and flakes of superluminova coming out after the watch has been worn long enough. So, really smart idea to do it that way. Now let's go ahead and push in the crown, get it screwed down. So what you're looking at inside is the SII. SII is was developed by Seiko, by the way. SII NH35 automatic movement. So you get 21,600 vibrations per hour. That means you don't get the world's smoothest sweeping hand, but it's still a smoothly sweeping automatic central hand. You can hand wind it by the crown. It does hack. Let's go ahead and pop the crown. And there you go. So it is a hacking movement, very important to talk about. And you know, before I put it on, let's talk about this. This is a sliding diver's wetsuit extension. I don't care if you dive or not. That's not really the point of this. Yes, you can open it up, throw it on over a wetsuit, and you're in good shape. What you're really going to use this for is when the summer months come up, you've already sized this for yourself, you got it on Christmas Day, and it's, 24 degrees, and it's freezing, and you've sized the watch to your wrist, and it fits great. that first day of spring pops up, and it's 72 degrees. There's a lot of humidity in the air. Your skin swells. So instead of having to resize it, or using a micro sizing area of the bracelet, all you do is squeeze 2 pushers and slide it open. You can click it back down. It's kind of almost like a ratchet system. So you can open it up all the way if you want, put it on your wrist, and then just click it down to your wrist size. So you're always going to get that perfect size. For those of you that may work in a really cold, air-conditioned office, and you're in and outside a lot, every time you go outside, you're like, damn, my watch is so friggin' tight. Or you sized it for that, and it's super loose all day at work. You have that adjustment. Now, I like this. It's not 100% unique to Lum-Tec. We've seen this on Doxa. We've seen this on actually a number of brands. And I myself, when I manufactured my watches, when I decided to do the hyperdive, I wanted to do the same thing. The only thing that bugs me is I went out of my way. If you take Doxa's, for example, and you put it up next to mine, I had mine designed a little bit, just a little bit differently. So it wasn't a direct copy of the overall design. Yes, the mechanism's basically the same. We changed a few internals, but it's pretty much the same. Lum-Tec is actually identical to mine. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's done very well. It's a little bit different than Doxa's, but it's the same clasp that I had made for my watches. This is a phenomenal system. It is super easy to use. It clicks in very sure. The pushers are solid. This watch is going nowhere. There's the case back. Little generic on there, just a simple laser etching, nothing particularly fancy about that. It is a bubble back, so they're giving plenty of room in there for the movement. Instead of giving you a super thick case, they did it in the case back. Some people find that to be completely unnoticeable. Some people don't like the fact that they can feel the case back. Your mileage may vary. The reason why some manufacturers will do that instead of giving you a super thick case is because when this is properly fitted to your wrist, this case back is going to sink down into your flesh. Okay? So it's going to give a lower profile appearance when you're wearing the watch. And that's going to be important for a lot of people. Just going to back this up, and kiddies, don't run your movements in reverse, but I'm only going back a few minutes here. Because what I want to do, before I put it on the wrist, I want to show you the all-important luminescence that you've all been waiting for. So I break out the black light as usual, and we're just going to give it a quick charge, and I think what we're going to see is something pretty spectacular. Now, they're using 2 different colors here. So you're getting a blue and a green. Now, you don't see that in the daylight, which I like. It's a nice, clean, simple, uniform look in the daylight. Let the camera focus. And then at night, or in the dark, you get that. So let's do this. Let's bring it up just a little bit closer. Allow the camera to focus. And look at the light show on your wrist. This is really well executed. It's not just about putting Lume on the watch. It's about putting Lume in the right places. It's about using combinations of colors. I find that to be a very big deal. I want some differentiation between the different markers. I would have actually probably used blue hands or blue Lume on the hands. That's just me. Everybody's a little bit different. Each version that you buy of this watch will give you different color combinations. So please pay attention to their very well done website where you get to see the watch in the light and you get to see it when it's glowing to see what you're going to be getting. That's impressive. It looks great. Now, let's see how it compares to Super Luminova in the application that I did on my brand. And I want you to really pay attention to the application and to the strength of the lume that you're going to be seeing. Now, the Hyperdive, I only made 500. They're very long, sold out. Please do not email me. They are not available for purchase. But I'm just using my watch as a comparison. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take the deep blue off my wrist because that's another brand I believe that people are going to want to compare the Lum-Tec to. So let's give you a little bit of charge on all three and see how they fare. Okay, I think that's probably long enough. Holy shit, right? That's a big difference. So let's take a look at these two first. I don't know if the camera is going to focus in the dark. For the most part it did. My Loom is good. Everybody's been really impressed with it. That is your standard look of Super Luminova with multiple passes. This is 8 applications, a ridiculously thick amount. And Deep Blue, who is very well known for great luminescence, still doesn't stack up to what you're seeing here. Now obviously these are just now being charged. They're much brighter now than they will be 20 minutes from now, 45, 2 hours from now. But we did charge them evenly. We did charge them at the same time, and you see a noticeable difference. That doesn't mean either of the other two watches don't have good lume. It just means that Lum-Tec is really excelling at what they're doing, and they're living up to their name. Now, for a lot of people, the XL is going to be too big. You know, it says 45 millimeter. I'm telling you right now, because the lugs they used were a little long for this design, it wears a lot bigger. The fact that your bezel is the same color as the dial kind of tricks you optically into thinking that it's a bigger watch as well. But, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's big. This is like wearing a 48 millimeter watch any day of the week. I would tell you right now, just based off of this, the 40 must be like wearing a 43. So keep that in mind. If you don't have a really big wrist or you don't really like wearing a big watch, buy the standard. If you like wearing a big oversized watch, pick up the XL. Just to give you a frame of reference, that the Deep Blue there is a 45 millimeter. And it doesn't wear anywhere near as large as that does. This thing is awesome. I was kind of thinking this was going to be a watch that we'd be picking apart a little bit. But I truly can't find anything that I don't like about it. Yes, I think the price should be a little bit lower. I'll be perfectly honest. This would make the most kick-ass $500 to $600 watch. Now, if this had a Swiss set of 2824, a Miyota 9015, anything in that vein, I could more easily, you know, just give you the go-ahead and say, dude, 745, awesome. I think at 745, you've really got to pay attention. You've got to want this for the things that make this watch special, okay? The Lume. The Lume is simply phenomenal. It's got great water resistance. It's got a great design. I love the fact they're using uniquely shaped hour markers. Nothing really off the shelf about this watch. So if what you really want is this specific design, which I think is great, and you really want crazy ass Lume, then it's absolutely worth the 745. If the Lume isn't that big of a deal to you, then Lum-Tec probably isn't going to be the brand for you. They're giving you ridiculous Lume. But yeah, you could buy a Hamilton, you could buy a Tissot. There are a number of different brands in a Swiss automatic that could probably be had. Again, you have to be very clear on this. On the gray market, discounted. If you took those from a dealer at MSRP, they'd be more expensive than this. I have to be fair in the way that I'm discussing this. But the fact of the matter is we all shop online. We all look for discounts. And there is a lot of competition at nearly $800. For me, I think this is a solid deal. I think it's a really well-made watch, and the Lume is absolutely fantastic. It kicked my watch's ass, and I'm proud of this watch. I put 2 years of labor into that watch, and love and sweat, and this just kicked its ass in the Lume department. And let me tell you something, Super Luminova ain't cheap. That's something that you need to consider when we're talking about the cost of this watch. Super Luminova is extremely expensive. And if they're applying it in so many additional multiple passes over their competition, they have a much higher cost of manufacturing. So as we break that down and we look at the very thick sapphire, because again, it's a 300-meter diver, the sapphire that's in the bezel ring, the way the watch is put together, the fact that you get the extra strap, yeah, there's a lot of manufacturing dollars. 2 nitpicks. They should not have used spring bars, and they should not have used friction pins. Yeah, you can buy an Omega for $2,000, $3,000 and it has friction pins. I get it. But very few watches do that are over $500. They should have used screws. Giving you a tool makes it a little bit easier. But most importantly, you're going to bend and break the pins at the lugs. At some point, spring bars, they just go. They're not hard to get, but it's a pain in the ass if it happens on one day and you really want to wear that watch. It should be a screw system, a Panerai style screw system with a driver. It's a much nicer way to do it. Again, only because of the price point. If this was a $300 watch, that wouldn't be a nitpick. And again, realize I'm saying nitpick. I'm taking a watch that's so nice that I have to find reasons to find anything negative about it. It's not really a negative, it's just something that they could make into more of a positive. How about that? Call that an area of opportunity. So yeah, if it was me, I would want to have the one-piece screw where I can just screw in and screw out, and I'm done and on my way. Other than that, I've got nothing bad to say. I'm really surprised. The watch really impressed me, and this was not one I even asked for. I was really trying to get my hands on a different model that I really liked. But when I talked to Bez over at Lum-Tec, he says, if you want Loom, this is our flagship luminescent watch. And I want to make sure you guys got a chance to see that. It's not about me, it's about you. And now you've seen it. You've seen some kick-ass Loom. You've seen a good, solid built watch. One thing I forgot to mention as we close here, something that you don't really hear from anybody else. Yeah, it's got a short warranty. However, you have free lifetime adjustments on the movement. Should this movement start losing or gaining time to any great degree, you send it into Lum-Tec, and for the price of your postage, of your shipping, you pay nothing else. They're going to give you adjustments for free. That's a really great thing, and you don't hear any other watch brand talking about that. Whether they offer it or not, and most places will charge you. If you send it in for a service, you're paying for a service. They're going to give you the adjustment for free, and that to me is something else that adds to the value.